Hello there. This is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. The champion mindset with cousin T Talk. What's up, man?
Hey, salute to you. Salute to everybody who's watching. As always, it's a pleasure and an honor to be able to have these discussions with your group and just anyone who knows the value of these conversations and of this space in general. So it's always a good time.
All right. So, the champion mindset. Why don't you tell us about the champion? Because I'm gonna tell you what, you've done some videos on that. I thought it was interesting because, of course, you're the originator of the term the alpha showpiece. And we all know, yeah, if that guy's handsome, he tall, he muscular, he get all the women. But and of course, you got guys they say, "Oh, you got to look like Chad and Tyrone." And yeah, okay, those guys are going to get it, but you're talking 1% of the population, whatever term you want to use. You got some men out there who they ain't going to win a modeling contract or anything like that, or a fitness model contract, but they still getting women. But at the same time, you probably couldn't call it the standard game. You doing anything slick or anything, but you know that's how I'm seeing it. If you I want you to give an interpretation, your meaning, what you mean when you say champion.
Yeah, and and absolutely. I've done presentations on Patreon and snippets on the YouTube side, but basically, when I say the champion, uh, I try to localize it. So I say the local champion in terms of men who are just everyday, living their lives and the way that it's meant to be lived. When I talk about the champion, I talk about the craftsman. I talk about the local leader, the steward, the man who knows who he is because he's taken the time to go within and to search all of the elements of his life. What are his talents?
Mm.
What are his blind spots? What are the things that he can get better at? A champion focuses on those aspects to make them better. I have an expression: you must become obsessed with the process of
Mm.
success.
Ooh, I love it.
Obsessed with the process of success. A champion enjoys the grind. A champion finds solace. It's almost like a meditative state when you are uh, uh, getting those extra reps in, when you are staying um, staying longer within a classroom structure so that you can get more problems solved, when you can study and explore more regions and aspects of the subject matter that you're getting into,
Mhm.
when you stay on the job site so that you can read those manuals, so that you understand the best practices and inside and out, so that you can master your crafts. I know I throw around the term masculine master, but really, when we talk about um, mastery within the context of your journey of manhood, the pinnacle of that mastery is the champion, because a champion has the results to back up, the sum of his work. And of course, we've got the high level champions. We've got, a Nobel Prize winner. We've got, Rhodes Scholars. We've got World Cup champions that's coming up in November. We've got NFL champions. We've got NBA. We've got all of these examples of the best of the best of the best at a certain profession, at a certain craft, at a certain athletic sort of event. But when we take all of that sort of understanding and appreciation and all of the lights and the glitter and the glitz and all of the things that come with uh, you know being a global champion or a national champion, and you shrink it down to the most basic elements, what do you have? You have someone who won at what they were doing.
Mm.
And in order to win at what you're doing, you have to complete your mission.
Yeah.
And when we talk about completing the mission, a mission has various components that need to be completed, that need these boxes basically that need to be checked off. What time are you getting up? Before you even go to bed, what is your plan for the next day?
Okay.
Before you even make the plan for the next day, how's your diet? What is your fuel intake? Are you hydrated? How are you taking care of this biomechanical third dimensional vehicle called the human body? How are you feeding your mind that is controlling your body and controlling the direction of your focus every single day? What is it that you're here to achieve in the first place? As coaches and mentors, just as well as I do, that when we first are having a conversation with a new client, for me, for example, and please speak to it if this has been your experience, I try to get background information about the man, the individual that wants coaching and mentorship in a certain area. So, some guys want to present better. Some guys want to have a better mouthpiece. Some guys, want to have more confidence. Some guys want to know about how to get the overall, package together.
Yeah.
But before we can go into all of those areas of life and activity, we need to know if this person knows who he is at his core. Like strip away your profession, strip away your education, strip away your family. Okay, depending on how old you are, and how long you've been experiencing life as you. We need to know if you have a decent grasp on your talents, your flaws, your idiosyncrasies, your habits, your pathology. Are you willing to be honest about what you look for on a daily basis? Do you look for the easy way out? Or do you look for the lesson? How do you process this thing called life? Because once we strip you down to those basics, then we as coaches and mentors, we get to identify those elements that are at the core of your humanity. And this is, this is part of the fun part. It's fun for us. It's rewarding for us. And this is, part of why we do what we do. But when we talk about stripping a person down to their elemental essence, okay, and then identifying that, hey, look, this is you. You're an early starter, or you're a late starter, a late riser. You're a night owl. You prefer the overnight. You prefer solitude, or you're the life of the party, or you're a leader, or you're a role player, or hey, I'm going to be honest with you. You may be beta as hell. You're a beta. Okay? So let's deconstruct all of those things that contribute to you being a beta. Do you sabotage others to make yourself feel better? Are you the type to sell other people out for your own gain and then feel bad about it and then drink that away, or justify it for some justify it your treacherous and traitorous behavior? if you are a beta, a beta in the presence of an alpha is immediately exposed,
Mm,
because what happens is, if when a beta is in the presence of a true alpha, first of all, they get real quiet, okay? Because they know that there's no 12th place trophy. There's no participation trophy. You have to show up and show out. You have to add value to the circumstance. Even if we're lifting, if we're at a gym, and anytime we get together in person, if we're in the same space, there's going to be a gym involved. There's going to be a gym. There's going to be a
mm,
bar. There's
yeah.
going to be there's going to be a space of
Exactly.
um, but what happens when a beta is in the presence of an alpha? They get really quiet. That's because instinctively they fall back on all of the excuses that they've made in life up to that point.
Mm,
Well, I couldn't do this because of this, or I didn't achieve this because of this, or whatever. And what happens is, as a mentor, as a steward, we have to we have to, like, C Boogie says, put up the mirror. We have to put
yeah.
up a mirror. This is you. Okay, these are
Mm,
the excuses that you've made in the 5 minutes that we've been talking so far. I gave you, a very simple assignment, personal assessment. Where's your life in these
yeah.
various areas? Okay, betas, they try to avoid looking in the mirror.
Yeah.
That's why you have 300-pound guys, with the Dunlap, the belly done lapped over their belt,
Mm,
acne, they could be making, six figures with their online presence, or, engineer, whatever it is that they're making money at, and they try to hide behind that.
yeah.
The first thing that we do with that is we let them know immediately, your money, your salary, your status, or whatever means nothing in terms
Mm,
of getting to who you actually are. Because if you're nothing without your status and your money, then that is what you present as a value add. If
mm.
you're nothing without the material, then you have no value that you add to a space.
Wow.
And so that's ultimately where we start when we're trying to develop the champion mentality. The
Okay.
champion is the person that recognizes their value add to a scenario.
Man, oh man, you know what? And see, you broke it down, because you get some people, they try to rely on those external things like that, but then, and they might say, "Well, I'm winning in life," but are you winning in life? Are you really enjoying life? And what happens if you take that away? How many people have had like all the money? You were just before we even got started, you mentioned that multimillionaire who jumped out of his apartment, you
Yeah,
know?
Bed Bath and Beyond CFO. Yeah,
Yeah. And
absolutely.
he's a multimillionaire. So what else was going on with him? And see, that's the thing, because when you talk about the champion, that's intriguing. You can't take it away. You can't even put a dollar value on it, really, because that's who you are. A champion could make $1 million, but a champion might make very little money comparatively, but be very good at it. I've known some people, they ain't had that spectacular position. Like I know young brother, and I've known him for a few years, well, really a couple decades, and he is doing so much, but on paper, he's not a millionaire or anything, but he's having an impact in his field, a major impact. He's impacting other people. I would call him an urban farmer, but he's feeding like thousands with what he's doing and expanding. And I'm just like, wow, he got several under his thumb or impacting. I mean, he's impacting. He's doing some work. I ain't gonna give him away too much, but he's doing some work where he'll be supplying food for development that will be built. So I mean, now that's a champion right there. So I
Absolutely.
understand totally what you're saying, because that's one of the issues we have out here, men developing themselves fully. Now, before we get, because I want to get more into that, but I know a question that the viewers will have is, okay, so how does this get a woman? If if they not an ASP or a Chad or Tyrone, how does this get a woman being a champion?
Now, that's a great question, and for this particular discussion, I usually wear the ASP hat. Today,
Mm-hmm.
I'm wearing the ESP, or the exotic showpiece. Now,
No.
what it means to be exotic is that you are uh, not only different but unique,
Mm.
and and outside of being your words, I'm going to use your words, outside of being a Mr. Goodbar or an alpha showpiece, what a champion, a diverse champion, is one of one. He is who he is
Mm.
unapologetically.
Okay.
And not only that, he has honed who he is. Okay. We often in these spaces reference comedian Patrice O'Neill. Okay. You know, even though he was, 6'4" or six, above 6 feet, 300 something pounds or whatever, rest his soul. But he was a master of holding a conversation. He was a master of the dialogue. He was a master
Mm.
at analyzing the sort of um, back and forth between humans. And he knew how to read a situation. He knew how to um, use his comedic gifts in a way that allowed him, not only to tell a good story, but to uh, enchant a potential target or a woman. But he also knew um, his type. He knew the type of women that he wanted to engage with.
Mm.
But beyond just that, he set up his situation so that if and when he intrigued the woman enough to want to come back with him and get to know each other as playmates, right? Playtime. He had a crib. He had his space, his own personal space, which wasn't necessarily a mansion, but it was comfortable.
Yeah.
So he had all of these elements of his presentation together as a overweight, clearly overweight. He passed due to diabetes complications due to diabetes, unfortunately, that he was working on or whatever. But at his height, he could talk to any woman. And what made him so unique was his relatability. Imposing figure, this really tall, really fat, really large, really just large human being, black
Mm-hmm.
man on top of that. But he was disarming. You know,
Yeah.
he had an angle on the human animal in such a way that allowed him to break the ice, allowed him to play with the tension that exists if you don't really know somebody, if you don't really know which way they're going to go. He had the ability to play with that tension and that particular dynamic into his favor.
Mm.
And so when we talk about uh, exercising the aspect of the champion mentality in terms of dealing with the type of women that you desire to acquire, you really, really have to know, again, not only, first of all, who you are, but who you want.
Mm.
Okay. Who you want is another layer to this understanding,
Mm.
because a champion, a champion boxer doesn't go practice fly fishing. A
Mm.
champion bowler doesn't go out shooting pool. A champion basketball player doesn't go for deadlift records. Okay, they are specific to their lane. They're specific to their area of focus. So one of the most important aspects of acquiring the type of woman that you desire, or getting the level of cooperation that you want from a woman that you may already have. You know, you may be married, you may be in a committed relationship that's souring out, that's become boring, that doesn't have the level of excitement that you want. Anybody can take an accounting of, you know, where they are and where they want to be, but you have to know what you want. So for example, we'll just take a basic example: a man who's been in a relationship with a woman for 2 years. Okay, things have become routine. You know, you don't get head at all. You barely get some duty playtime, you know, once a week or twice a month or whatever. What is it that you want? Do you want surprise head?
Yeah.
Do you want road head? Do you want to be surprised in the stairwell of your building? Do you want to bend her over in the garage? Do you want her to surprise you with morning sex and then a cooked breakfast? Right?
Yeah.
Now you have goals. Now you have a point A and a point B. Point A is the rut that you're in now. Point A is the space of mediocrity. Point A is the starting point. Point B is the morning sex with breakfast cooked afterwards. And a champion visualizes where he wants to be. And we're just using this very narrow example, but it is something that plays out, you know, over and over again,
exactly.
you know, in many men's lives. How do you get from where you are to where you want to be with this woman who you have gotten into a rut or a funk or a routine with over the course of 2 years? You know, how do you even get the words? How do you even manage, you know, to approach this new space within your relationship, right? Well, obviously, they would be greatly benefit by seeking the counsel of a mentor or coach. But the first thing that they can do is to take an accounting of their lives. Okay, what happens at 7 in the morning? What happens at 8 in the morning? What happens at 9 in the morning? Do you work? Does she work? What's that routine look like? Do you have kids? What does that routine look like? What are the elements that make up your day? Do you go to the gym? Does she go to the gym? Do you know what do you know what your performance arc is in bed? Do you know what her performance arc is in bed? Do you know? Have you explored your kinks? Do you know her kinks? Do you know her spots? Do you know how to make her climax? Does she, understand and appreciate what gets you off, besides just the regular warm, wet hole? Okay, have you had those conversations? Okay, all of these things should play in your mind, and you should now start making progressive steps towards, being able to communicate what it is that you want, which is the morning sex that leads to breakfast in bed. Okay. So that's the first thing. You have your goal. You're analyzing, the elements that exist within your routine that's brought you to this 2-year space in a rut in your relationship with hopefully the type of woman that you desire. That's a whole other conversation. But
Mhm.
you know, we'll just say that she started out as the woman that you desired. Now, break down every part of those things that I just laid out. You've got multiple elements here.
Yeah.
What motivates her?
Mm.
And I know that in the Black manosphere and in the greater manosphere, we're exploring the premise of a woman catering to a man. That's why you've got men who are willing to fly international, men
Mm-hmm.
who are willing to, explore other ethnicities and cultures. But when we talk about the exchange and we talk about the value add, that's a two-way street.
Yeah.
Okay. And putting
Well,
a
to
house,
interrupt you
go
real
ahead.
quick,
Yeah.
it's just like I say a lot. I always paraphrase Sun Tzu. If you know yourself and you know the woman, you need not fear the results of 100 seductions. And
Right.
one of the problems I see, and that's a whole other conversation, many guys don't even know the woman that they're trying to deal with. They don't take the time to get to know her. They all, too many men focus on, okay, what she can do for me, but okay, but you got to know what motivates her to do that for you. That's the whole point. What gets her off? What's her freak threshold? And a lot
Right.
of guys don't take the time to do that. And I just wanted to throw that in, but continue with what you're saying because, and anybody listening, you need to rewind that part and take some notes. You need to take some notes because cousin T-Tar, a professional seducer, is breaking it down for you. But go ahead, cousin T-Tar.
But just, I mean, yeah, just to piggyback off what you just said, I coach guys from all over the world, and as I'm sure you do,
Mm-hmm.
and countries that guys fly to from the states, and
Mm-hmm.
and once you're there, you got a whole other set of things to um, acclimate yourself to. Not only just knowing who you are again and knowing what it is you want and understanding the ways of a woman and physicality and sensual modalities and the way of arousal and all of these things, erotic touch, and now you've got language, now you've got culture, now you've got
Mm-hmm.
customs, now you've got all of these other things to compound your mission. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But bringing it back to the original example, the guy that's in a 2-year rut with the woman that he desired, blah blah blah. His goal is to get morning sex with breakfast cooked afterwards. Now he knows. Now he has these elements that are swirling around. So now he has to pay attention. Now he has to pay attention to her routine. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If he is a mentor client or a coaching client of us, we're already addressing his routine. He's
Yeah.
already in the gym. He's already in the gym at least 3 times a week. He's already paying attention to his diet. He's always drinking more water. He's already stepping up his wardrobe. He's already getting his signature set. He's already working on those aspects of himself. Okay, so these things are actually impacting her. She's now taking a look like, wow, you know, she's taking note of these improvements, even if they're minor, just little
Mm-hmm.
adjustments here and there. But she's taking
Mm-hmm.
note of it.
Yes, he
Now,
is.
now, now it's time for you to observe her.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yep.
you should know what her cycle is.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay,
definitely.
you should know what her sensual performance arc is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how long does it take for her to be ready or prepared for sex? Does it take a day? Does it take 2 days?
Mm-hmm.
Understand that women are wired very differently than men.
Yeah.
Okay, this is why seduction is important. This is why game is important. How do you talk to her? How do
Mm.
your personal words affect her? Because my words are going to affect her differently.
Yeah.
Because the T-Tall's words are going to affect her differently. Ron Wills, field master, his words are going to affect her differently.
Yeah. Even a tone
Because
of voice that you use when you talking to her. Even the tone of
Absolutely.
voice, you can't talk to her like you talking to the fellas, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. Now we're building this momentum towards the goal. Okay. The goal,
Mhm.
once again, is morning sex followed by breakfast cooked.
Mhm.
Okay. So uh, you're working out, so you're looking better. You're paying attention to your nutrition, so you're feeling better, have more energy. You're smelling better because you got your signature set. Your clothes are fitting better and they're looking sharper, so your appeal is raising. Your appearance factor and your appeal is being elevated.
Yeah.
She's obviously taking note to this and
Yes.
storing that in her mind. Now you're observing her. Where does she go when you go to work? Does she go to work? Does she start the laundry? Does she start cleaning, cook? Does she start the household duties? Does she take kids to whatever? Does she take care of a sick parent? All of these things factor into your mission. Your mission, again, let's stay focused. Morning sex that leads to breakfast being cooked. We're closer. Listen, we're halfway there. Believe it or not, we're gonna get there. But this is overall the example of the champion mentality. Remember, you must become obsessed with the process of success. Okay,
Mhm.
this is all the process of success. Okay,
Yeah.
whatever you deem success will be. Um, and ultimately, obviously, it's establishing a more deeper and impactful and profound relationship with your significant other. Okay, that's success in this scenario. So now we've got her schedule down. Now we see that um, she likes to watch cooking shows. Good. Now you support that with these recommendations. Oh, I saw these YouTube videos. Oh, I saw here's a cookbook. Here's the something to this is new cookware. This is da 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 da.
Mhm.
So you're setting up the scenario for
Mhm.
part of your mission, right?
Yeah.
So you're putting the elements together of what it is that you desire from this particular mission. Okay,
Mhm.
new cookware, new ideas,
Mhm.
mostly focused on breakfast or whatever,
Mhm.
and you are hopefully over the past 2 years you've watched TV together. You've watched movies together.
Mhm.
Every woman has a type.
Mhm.
You may or may not be her type. Come to grips with that. Okay?
Yeah.
Because women will not tell you. Most women don't have the words to articulate that. But the reason why she got with you are the reasons why she got with you. She found you charming. She found you addictive. There's something about your charisma. There's something about your character. There's something about you being a work husband. Whatever the circumstance under which you two got together, y'all are together. But you found yourself in a 2 year rut. Okay, and we're halfway between that rut and you getting what you want. So, but you have to be able to observe moments of arousal with a woman. When you're watching a
Mhm.
movie,
Yes.
what type of leading man comes on the screen and she adjusts herself? Oh, does she does she make a motion? Does she need to get up and use the restroom? Does she need to pause it? Does she need to what are these? What are the elements? What are the attributes? How does he move? How does he look? How does he sound? What are these elements and these aspects of the type of man that she would take as a hall pass? Okay, basically
Mhm.
that primal space of arousal. And this is an exercise that I give to various coaching clients, not so that you can become that man. No, no, no. You want to be more so you. You want to
Yeah.
be the best version of you. But what you're looking for are cues of your woman's arousal.
Mhm.
Because every woman displays her arousal cues in different ways. But
Oh
not
yeah.
every woman is your woman. Your woman is your woman. And this is what you want to make sure of.
Well,
And the
let me
reason why,
stop you before.
go ahead.
Well, let me stop you because I know some guys they have a problem with a woman watching somebody on TV and getting aroused, but you just have to realize that women have an ideal type, but she's still with you, and it's not necessarily she's settling with you. You had something about you that she liked. But at the same time, is she watching a show? Because I can think of someone I know who liked a character on TV, and I was like, oh, she's like, oh yeah, he's hot. He's like, I was like, okay, because I'll even joke with her about it. I'll say, hey, your man on TV now. So you know what? You don't get mad. That's the main thing. That's the main thing. You just note it, and it's like, oh, she getting hot there. And it could be, you know what? She could be watching a cooking show. She could be watching Iron Chef or something, and she thinking, "Oh wow, I just love all of that." Because women, they got multiple things that turn them on. It's not even always the man. They got
That's the point.
multiple things. I mean, they could see a show, and the man gives the woman a gift, and her love language is getting gifts. So just pay attention. See, the thing is, pay attention to the woman and don't get mad, but just say, oh, okay. She might like certain scenes. It could be anything. It could be anything. Certain conversations, certain subjects, but you got to pay attention. You got to be present with the woman. Don't think about what you're going to do later on and trying to do. Pay attention to her now, and always pay attention to little things. What makes her smile a little bit more? What makes her twitch or like she got to go to the bathroom a bit? And then you could be like, oh, okay. And you right there and pay attention. But go on, because you're giving a master class right now. I just had to add my little bit, but you giving some power, because
No,
I'm
no.
like, you telling some people some stuff. I'm like, look, for everybody listening, I challenge y'all to tell me where else on YouTube you hearing this level of game.
That's right. Hit the
Challenge
Cash App
them.
and the PayPal.
Yeah, yeah,
but but
yeah.
but you have brought us even closer. See, we were 50% there. Now we were pushed 65. Now we're at
Mhm,
75%. Thank you for that.
mhm.
Obviously, you know what you're talking about. Obviously, you have experience in this area, and that is the answer. That is the reason why I'm saying, when you sit down and observe the type of men on screen, the type of men at a play, the type of men just in public, if you're people watching,
Mhm.
that your woman reacts to.
Well,
And
hold on.
and
Before you get into it, sorry to
mm-hmm.
interrupt you again, but let me just share a quick story. And this
Yeah.
is a woman I dealt with in the 90s. I got to be careful what I say because she's a practicing attorney still. And I remember I was over at her place and we still, I was still young and trying to get into her. And she was already turned on by me. We had kissed, but we ain't gone all the way yet. And then we were watching Family Matters. And Urkel said something and she just busts out laughing. All of a sudden, she's getting up and pulling me to the bedroom. Now, it wasn't even his look or anything. But one of the things with her is when she really laughed, because she was like I said, she's an attorney now. I hope she doesn't. I ain't call your name, baby. But but she's the type. If you get her smiling or laughing, that was the thing with her, regardless of what you look like, because she had a serious look all the time. But if you can get her smiling, even when you're having sex with her, she just have a big smile on her face when it's good. It's like you could tell. But that's that same thing. What is it? And it could be the slightest thing, it could be the littlest thing, but that's all you need. That's all you need. But go on. I had to share that because I think men need to understand, pay attention to even small things. You don't know what a woman's trick is.
No, it's a very good point, and we need more examples like that. We can go for hours on end with those examples, but I
Mhm.
think the point and the takeaway from that scenario is this: what we teach and what we share with men is not magic. And I always say it's not magic if you know the trick.
Yeah.
Okay, and the trick is knowing yourself and knowing your target. Okay, that's
Mhm.
the trick.
There,
So
this is.
um, so bringing it back to where we were, you're looking at her reactions. You're looking at the cues of her arousal. And so
Mhm.
when you take away those cues, you know when she's becoming aroused by certain stimuli. Uh-oh.
Mhm.
So when you blow on her ear, when you kiss her on the neck, when you take out the trash, when you run an errand that she didn't expect to be run,
Mhm.
you're setting up those cues. You have to look and see if she's reacting the same way that she reacted to that leading man. Okay, well, let me do this. Let me touch and graze those erogenous zones. Does she okay? Now we're calibrating her erotic reactions. Okay, and
Mhm.
so we're 90% there at the goal. We've got the scenario, we got the breakfast cookware, we've got the groceries done, we've got all of the logistics set up for that which we want in terms of our mission.
Mhm.
And now the stage is set. What is your evening routine with your woman,
Mhm.
your wife, your significant other? What is your evening routine? Why is it that you haven't you're not regularly having morning sex in the first place? Now you need to adjust how you approach the space of rest. That is your sanctum, right? That is your space of relaxation and rest. Does she read? Do you watch TV until you go? Do the two of you
Mhm.
watch your favorite television show until you go to sleep? Does she listen to the sounds of the ocean or the rain, while she sleeps? Does she put a avocado mask on her face? Does she, wear a bonnet? So all of these things need to be observed, and you can set up the goal by challenging her to wear this lingerie. And you put your avocado mask on. How about you put this little see-through number on? Oh, we ain't gotta do nothing. This ain't, it's whatever. I just want to look at it. Then we go to sleep. Okay. 10 out of 10, you getting woke up. You gonna get woke up either in the middle of the night or early in the morning, because not only have you been working out, paying attention to your nutrition, getting your steps in, getting your cardio up, getting your water intake increased, that's going to set you up for that morning wood. Okay,
Mhm.
so she's going to have the material. She's going to have the physical presence of arousal. You're putting off this excess testosterone. Okay, in her feminine nature, that estrogen ain't gonna have no other choice. She's laying there in this new lingerie that you picked up. Your testosterone is responding to those extra squats you did. Shout out to the field master.
Mhm.
All of these things are playing a part in this dance of nature that goes back to ancient times. The,
Mhm.
the, the cookware is set up, the groceries are ready, all of the elements exist for the completion of your mission. And now
Mhm.
all you waiting for is that first crack of dawn.
Mhm.
And let me tell you, when she throw that thigh over on you just to see if you awake,
Mhm.
and it starts with the
Yeah.
rub on your chest, she feeling those arms that you've been working.
Mhm.
She kiss you on that neck just gently and tenderly. You know that the mission has been accomplished. And that is just one example of the
Money.
championship mindset.
Yes, and I'm gonna tell you what, because I know some people hearing all that. Well, how do I get there? Okay, you just told them how to, not even the sex part, but really looking at yourself, really working on yourself, because it's that mindset. And one of the things too, really want you to get into is these people, men who think, well, I'm not tall enough, or I'm not handsome enough, I'm not muscular enough. But an honest look at many of the men who are tearing up multiple women, neither are they. They look the same, but their mindset is different. They thinking like champions. they thinking it. Because the thing with women to understand, yes, they have a range of men they'll have sex with. That woman will have sex with an ASP, she encounter one. But then depending on the man, if he has the right mentality, she'll have sex with him too. That's just a woman's sexual nature. They ain't stuck in one person. See, a lot of guys think they'll see the videos and stuff, but they don't know who these women go home to. Yeah, if you that ASP, great. But if you're not, okay, you can build yourself up. You can learn to work with what you have. You can get comfortable with it. And trust me, because women have so many ways that they get turned on. I know a woman gets turned on, you can just buy her like gift cards for someplace, like to get some food. And you got plenty of women, they just turned on just by you giving them a good compliment.
Right, and you mentioned a lot of great points that I want to highlight. And it doesn't get said enough in these spaces. You mentioned that there are men that think they're too short,
Mm-hmm.
or too fat, too out of shape, too this, too that. And I always ask, you're too short for what? You're too out of shape for what? You're too broke, poor, underemployed for what? Okay. What exactly is it that you believe you qualify for? What is it that you want? Let's dismiss qualifications. Human to human, sentient to sentient. What is it that you actually want? Because you can scroll for days and months and weeks on IG and see every shape, size, height, width, ethnicity, BBL natural, silicone filled natural, small, medium, large. You can see the spectrum of women. You're too short for what? You're too whatever for what? But here's the thing. If I were to have a magic potion to say, okay, now you point out this woman. Oh man, she's a baddie. Just think of an IG model, or a runway model, or an actress, or whatever. Okay, just choose a name. All right, I got a potion. Here it is. Take this tablet, this magic pill, and now you're in her presence. Now what? Do you want to simply sleep with her? Or do you want to be in a scenario with a movie star, to whereas she's got to walk the red carpet, she's got agents, she's got managers, she's got extended family trying to hit her up for money. She has this lifestyle that requires, $500,000 a year in maintenance. Okay, her tax bill is due. Of her six-figure tax bill. Is that what you wanted? Or did you want a fantasy? If you want a fantasy, say that. Now we can get you. Now we can better align you with that. Okay, if you're working at Dunkin' Donuts, and shout out to all the blue collar guys. Shout out to the 87 octanes. Shout out to the 89 octane. Shout out to the men who keep the infrastructure going. Shout out to the gentlemen who live everyday lives. You really have to ask an honest question. What is it that you want? Do you want that woman who is the object of desire for most men, for the pleasure and the experience of having something exotic, or fulfilling a fantasy? I'm giving you the words to articulate that which most men don't have a follow-up for. They just point and say, I want that. I want that IG model. I want the dime piece. But what about it? What about her do you want? Do you want her anxiety that keeps her up at night? Do you want the therapy sessions that she needs to go to in order to maintain a semblance of normalcy? Do you want the visits? You know, her family's traditions. What do they do on Christmas? Do they celebrate Kwanzaa? Do they celebrate Hanukkah? You know, is that what you want? Because when we offer depth, because fantasy is one dimensional, fantasy is surface, okay? But a true champion goes beneath the surface. A true champion wants to know the inner workings of a thing. A champion wants to dissect the process of success. Okay? Do I want the experience with the woman, or do I want all of this woman? Everything that comes with it. Everything that comes with it. And so if that answer is yes, because believe it or not, you know, I've coached and mentored some guys who said, yeah, I want a supermodel. I want a pageant winner. shout out to my guys, you know who you are. Shout out to the guys who, you know, are, you know, doing it big. You are, you know, the owners of businesses, excuse me, private jets and all that stuff. But let's be clear. There exists space and time beyond the interaction that you want. See, the fantasy is you pulling up in your model year fancy car or whatever to a lounge or a club or the exclusive event. She's there on the red carpet. You step out with your tuxedo or your fit. She's coyly looking over her shoulder. She notices this figure that approaches, you know, from the depths of this amazing vehicle. She plays shy and retreats into the event, but can't help but look at you from across the room. You're playing it cool because you received this ism from the best seduction and dating coaches in the Black manosphere. You know who you are, you know what to say, you know what to think. You have the logistics of the evening set up. You know how to escalate, you know how to introduce yourself in a manner that's person to person, man to woman, and you know how to progress the series of scenarios that bring her back into a more comfortable and intimate setting. But are you ready for what happens beyond this space, beyond this fantasy? Okay. And what does that mean? And what does that say about you as a man? Right? Are you the type of man that values the surface? Are you the type of man that values, and when I say value, when a person values something, it's you're willing to give up your value add in exchange for that which you perceive as valuable from the other person. That's something that you value. Okay. Is that who you are? Okay. Because let's be honest, most men, from the guy again who works at Dunkin' Donuts to the guy in the C-suite, have not necessarily taken the time to search who they really are. Okay, are you into jazz? Are you into fine art? Are, you know, what type of tapestry do you appreciate? Does it come from the indigenous tribes that belong to your ethnicity? Do you enjoy travel for the sake of experiencing the elemental spaces that come with a new experience? Do you go to Bali for the meditation? Do you go to Peru for the shamanic experience? Like, who are you? Because who you select becomes a reflection of that.
Boom. I knew that was coming. See, this high level, I knew that was coming. But see, a lot of guys they don't even know that. They just want that fine woman, but they ain't thinking about, well, who are they? You know? That's
Correct.
where it comes. That's what the champion does. Yeah, they thinking, okay, this is who I am. This is what I like. Because here's the thing. I know it's from personal experience. I can't call any names, but just being who I am attracted the attention. I could call some names, but yeah, they might get a little funky. But all that people will say, well, how that woman found friendly with you and all that. I'm just being me. Just, that's it. And I know what I like, what I don't like. And, and I've actually met some women, more women, some with interest, some I just knew who dealt with some celebrities, and yet they were showing interest anyway. So it's just like, and somebody said, oh, I'm just talking. It says, no, because they still, where'd I meet them? At gyms, being at certain things, just doing what I'm doing, just doing what I'm doing. And this ain't about me, but this is letting the viewer know, hey, what do you do? Because see, and I have in one of my books, Meeting Attractive Women, I said, look, remember, every single one of them got a personality. I know a very beautiful woman. She'd tell you how to hack NASA. I mean, I know another one. She can build a computer from scratch. She can take one apart and build it back and make it run better. They all got stuff they like. It was a very beautiful woman who was she was actually in some movies, like small parts back in the 90s. She's the one who introduced me to the X-Files because she was big on science fiction. We went on a date. She talking about UFOs and stuff. But a lot of people would just see her and say, oh, no, she ain't into all that. Well, it was like, no, did you talk with her? Did you find out? But the only reason we got to that point was, I was getting into writing and she was a writer. So that, that was that connection right there. But see, I know who I was. And that's something I always say, because then a man needs to know who he is to know which woman fits into his world. Because when you're looking at that beautiful woman on the carpet, all you see is the image. You see the makeup and all of that. You don't know what she really like. She might not like all that stuff. She's doing it for money, but you leave it up to her. She might just want to go to Dunkin' Donuts and don't walk around with makeup on and all of that. Walk around in some sweats. She might just want to hang out at the gym. I mean, people see a lot of men, see too many men put that beautiful woman on a pedestal. And okay, yeah, she fine. She got some good genetics and stuff, but what does she like? She might like butterflies. She might want to talk politics with you. They still got a brain. But then in order to really click with them, you got to know who you are. Because you might talk with them and not click with them. You could be cool with them. It's not that they mean or doing anything, but it's like, you know what? She's beautiful, but it ain't there.
Or
that.
You can start the conversation with her and realize, oh shit, I can't keep up with her.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
And that's a reality for a lot of men who have not worked on personal development, self-improvement.
Exactly.
And that's why the game is so important and it's so beautiful, because when we talk about ism, the mouthpiece, you actually have to have the facility of wordsmith. You have to be able to, produce sentence structure and to be able to articulate the ideas and thoughts that you're trying to get out. But at the same time, you need to be able to simplify it so that it's person to person, human to human. Bring it down to the elemental level so that you can connect. Because at the end of the day, it's about the connection and compatibility. Hinges on the connection and your ability to connect. That's why men like us, and let's say, masculine masters, statesmen, the men who are seasoned and um, who steer the helms of institutions, you know, honestly, they get proposals all the time. They get women who flat out say, "I'm down for whatever program you have. Okay, I'll be the top woman. I'll be the mistress. I'll be the ride or die. I'll be whoever you need me to be." I know those words sound very familiar to some guys. I will be whoever you need me to be, so long as I can be in your world.
Mm. That's the important term, world.
Absolutely. And a champion has a world.
Yeah.
A champion has built his world in a way that supports his mission. Mm-hmm. So if we just want to use an athlete, for example, he's going to go to training camp. Mm-hmm. That is his world.
Yeah.
For the duration of the time. If we're talking about a chess champion, he's going to sit amongst masters. He is going to inundate himself with the classics and know the opening moves. He's going to know, the timing scenarios. He's going to surround himself with the culture, the philosophy of chess. He's going to inundate himself. Mm-hmm. He's going to make that his world. But that's part of the beauty of life, really. And I know that beauty is not a word that's used a lot. It's been cheapened, on the altar of convenience. You just press a button and you get all of these images and you get stimuli. But that's not beauty. That's stimuli. Beauty is the appreciation of a subject. Mm-hmm. Okay? That subject can be anything. That subject can be music, art, science, literature. We're talking about women. Mm-hmm. And when we talk about the beauty of a woman, in order to be able to appreciate and to fully articulate a woman's beauty, whether she's a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10, okay, you need to have enough understanding of yourself to, first of all, understand how you're even going to appreciate her beauty. And what does that mean? Is it her skin tone? Is it her walk? Is it the way that her fingers grace the pages of a book? Is it the way that she holds a fork as she brings the food to her mouth? Is it the way that she breathes the syllables of your name when she speaks? Is it the way that she expresses her talents? Is it the way that she sits? Is it the way that she stands? How do you appreciate the beauty of the object of your desire? And are you able to succinctly, and it doesn't have to be romantic, but it needs to be comprehensive. Can you comprehensively articulate her beauty? Mm. And that's a big part of the game in and of itself. Mm. It's not cheesy. It's not corny. It's not this canned line like, "Oh man, I would drink a whole bathtub of your bath water, whatever." No. Hey, miss, I couldn't help but notice you stand out among all of the other women here. What is your name? Mm. I have to at least figure out how long this interaction that we're having can last. And it's on her at that moment to show you who she really is. Is she a goofball? Mm-hmm. Is she an art snob? Is she an aristocrat? Is she a
Mhm.
freak that's a freak that's down to leave that spot at that very moment? Is she an intellect that would like to get to know, you know, the depth of how much you're intrigued about her in that
Mhm.
scenario? Is she curious? Is she an outlier? Is she all these things that we discuss, on our channels? When we talk about women and the variety and the spectrums and of all of these things. Part of the game is appreciation. You appreciating who you are, your identity, your self, your mastery of your masculinity. But the other part is appreciating the woman that's in front of you, the target of your desire, and being prepped, you know, having that readily available to you, um, to present to that woman, to that potential, um, uh, you know, counterpart that you exchange these experiences with, is a very powerful aspect of being a champion. And once you have those basic fundamentals down, there's so much more to life that you can enjoy, that you can appreciate, and that it makes it more meaningful, that adds depth and dimension and shade and color to these everyday experiences that we have, and just appreciate being alive as a man right now, but because it all comes back to you and you focusing on who you are, why you're here, what is your value add to any given space, and what is it that you're here to leave behind. That's
Mhm.
really at the core of being a champion.
Wow. You know what? That is powerful. That is powerful. You know what though? I mean, we can go in on this for a long time. I mean, this is some powerful stuff, but I want to just kind of wind it down right now. For the viewers, definitely a link to Cousin Tito's channel is in the description box. And you really want this is higher level stuff. You know what? Seriously, I don't hear this anyplace else in this space. I really don't. I really don't because, well, I'm gonna be nice to everybody. You don't hear this elsewhere in this space. So definitely take it in because yes, it comes down to you ultimately. Because then if you once you have a relationship with yourself, then you can have relationships with women, but you first gotta have it with yourself first. And that's the key thing. So you want to be that champion, whatever it is. I mean, whatever it is, figure out your mission, what you want to do. I'm gonna talk about it again on Sovereign Saturdays. I'm gonna hit an aspect of this, but just want to thank you, Cousin Tall, for coming through. For the people who watch, go back. He gave you a blueprint of seduction. You don't hear it that much. So definitely. So I want to thank you for coming through. And you have any final words, Cousin Tall?
No, as always, it's a pleasure and a privilege to come and chop up real game with you, the
Okay.
field master, the general Rom Wills.
All right.
But
Thank
salute
you.
to you, salute to your audience, salute to all the men who support these spaces. But at the end of the day, I just want to leave men with, um, the appreciation of the journey of self discovery, the journey of masculine mastery. It's so important. It's something that I hope we continue to drive home. We continue to repeat throughout our discussions, because at the end of the day, once you know who you are, you know why you're here, and you know what you have to contribute to spaces like this, then life is a joy. Life is, spectacular. Even if you have the hardships, you have the challenges. The world will be the world.
Yeah.
Countries are going to do what they're going to do. Governments are going to do what they're going to do. But you're here at this time in space for a reason.
Yes,
Embrace that reason.
exactly.
Find your tribe and align and affirm why you are here and get done what it is you are here to do.
Yes. That is a great way to end it. So peace and blessings, everyone. As always, keep rising.